Hello, I'm Dave Williams, dairy farmer at Curtis Hulme Farm here in Middlewich.
And I'm Caroline Williams. I'm Dave's wife, and we are farming together in partnership.
We calve all year round, 365 days of the year, selling milk to the co-op through Muller Dairies.
So we currently stand at 450 cows in the herd. We've increased that over the last 3 or 4 years from around 330 to 450 now. So on farm we've got the 450 cows, about between 20 and 30 in-calf heifers that will be due in the next couple of months, and young stock up to weaning. Our heifers, we do rear our own heifers, but they're contract reared, so we rear them up to weaning. They move away to the contract rearer at weaning, and then he gets them in calf, and they move back to the farm a couple of months before calving.
The breed of the cows, we're a three-way cross, so we've got Holstein, Norwegian Red and Montbelliards. We do feel at the moment, the reason we went crossbred is to get a hardier, stronger, longer lasting animal, which is exactly what we've got. However, we do feel the Montbelliards aren't just yielding as well as we'd hoped, so we are actually going away from Montbelliards. We're open to advice really, whether we go to a third way cross again or just go a two-way finger all the way back to Holstein. We're not just sure yet, so we're open to advice on that really. So we milk in a 2040 Delaval rapid exit parlour with ADF. It takes about 3 hours to milk. There's about 370 or 80 going through that at any one time. So cow flow is very good. They're a bit steady coming in, but obviously out we've been rapid exit, the fast out, with a decent handling system and a sort gate as well to sort them out. So cows are foot bathed every day as well on exit of the parlour. So 5 days on formalin and 2 days on copper sulphate. So yeah, we're farming about 540 acres in total. 240 acres owned, about 200 rented, and then the rest is contract farm from me parents-in-law. We grow about 50 acres of maize, 20 to 30 acres of wheat or barley. The rest is down to grass, some permanent pasture, but mostly 5-year lays really. So we're on a 4-cut system, so we're like, yeah, good grass is important to us.
So we entered into the SFI agreement at the start of the year, very on the sort of basics of clover is in most of the land anyway, most of the grasses anyway. So we've got most of the grasses already with clover in, and as part of the SFI we are soil sampling. So we over the last 3 years we've probably soil sampled most of the fields now. So we're checking all sorts of levels, but the organic matter is part of the SFI agreement.
Soil types are predominantly heavy clay, mainly at home, and with a block of land at Holmes Chapel it's heavy clay as well. We have some sandier peaty sort of soils at Sandbachs where we contract farm. So
we've been soil sampling for a number of years, but we've probably done most of the farm over the last 3 years. Not every field every year, but we'll make sure we do every field sort of once every 3 or 4 years to include each field. So we've got Dave and myself and Dave's dad Philip farming in partnership along with Dave's mum. In terms of the team, we've got Emily as our chief herds person. She's been with us nearly 7 years now, and she knows the herd inside out. If you could ask her about any cow, she'd be able to tell you all about her. So she focuses on dry cow management, all the milking, mastitis protocols, and anything to do with the cows really. She's the one that deals with that. Calf rearing team is currently Gracie. She is finishing with us soon. We've got another girl called Ruby starting, and myself. So we rear the calves up to weaning together. We've got a few younger lads from Rees Heath College. So Jack is an apprentice with us at the moment. He has been with us for 2 years and is currently doing his apprenticeship at Rees Heath. And then we've got Joe, Sam and John, who sort of cover different milkings over their weekends and days off from Rees Heath. We've also got Vinny, who works for us. He predominantly scrapes up, but he will help with the milking as well. So he's here at milking times 5 days of the week. And a couple of relief milkers, John Porter and Paul Fox, who help out when needed. So we've got a really wide team working with us that really help us with our farm. In terms of the fertility, we use Genus and we are an RMS. So they tail paint and walk the cows once a day, and they do all the serving of the cows. They help us with our fertility data and knowing where we're up to with our conception rates, pregnancy rates and so on. So we're meeting with those every few months to keep up to date on our fertility. We use sandstone vets for our routine work. I'm also a vet myself, so between myself and Em and Sarah from Sandstone, we do the routine work each week, scanning obviously to check if any cows are in calf and making sure they're ready to be served and so on. And again, they help us with the data on the fertility side to keep everything on track.
Foot trimming, we use LMF, Lee Fletcher. He comes every fortnight, and we try and trim cows 3 times the lactation, 100 days, 200 days and at dry off, and then any other lameness firefighting sort of trims as well. Lameness is currently standing at about 3%, score 2s and 3s, so really good. That's an improvement from about 30%, which is really good, really happy with that. Nutrition is covered by Emma Redfern. She's been with us about 6 months now and making steady progress, I think, really. So, but it's a key area we want to concentrate on, is just try and get more milk out of the cows now. So Emma's going to be key for the next few years, hopefully. Yeah, as far as nutrient management goes, we have a fellow called Michael Denny does the actual nutrient management and does all the paperwork side of it. So all the slurry is either dribble barred or splash plated on by umbilical cord or tankers throughout the year as evenly as possible. We spread our own fertiliser, but try and minimise that. We don't put a big lot on. All the grass layers have got white clover in, which does help reduce nitrogen usage for us.
Okay, so I help Gracie and Ruby with rearing the calves. So sort of every other weekend I'll be out feeding calves and throughout the week when necessary. I am heavily involved with staff management, so making sure everyone knows where they should be and when they should be in, doing all the bookwork, VAT returns and so on, all the paperwork that the co-op require us to do every few months, and that's all down to me. And I also am a qualified vet, so I do the routine work every other week, and any sick cows I'll look at, keeping an eye on sort of colostrum quality. We'll take bloods off the calves regularly for total proteins to check colostral transfer. So between myself and the calf rearing team, we do that, and that's most of my roles.
My role is primarily feeding the cows and just maintaining a high standard of welfare really for them, and pretty much filling in gaps if anyone's off, and I can fill in, and anything and everything else really. So yeah. So
I'm also the Cheshire facilitator for Women in Dairy. I've been in this role for about a year now, so organising 3 or 4 meetings each year with different speakers coming in to talk about different things for lots of women who are involved in dairy and anything to do with farming. We visited the Genus Bull Stud back in November and had a tour, and they did a brilliant day all about what they do at Genus and how they work with their team. It's predominantly women, but all about what they do there. We've also got a meeting coming up with updates on grants and SFI and so on with Harvey Hughes. So I'm helping coordinate the Cheshire team for Women in Dairy.
So cows are currently averaging about 8,600 litres per lactation. We'd like a bit more out of them really. We've focused primarily over the last 5 years on feet and fertility, mobility and fertility, which we feel we're doing a really good job on, and now it's time, we think, for a bit more production and just drive more production out of them really, or lead it more than drive it really. So which is probably the main reason why we're phasing out the Montbelliards a little. So yeah, so fat stands at 4.2%, protein at 3.4%. Cows are fed a full TMR ration every day, so we feed about just shy of 3 tonne of concentrate per year per head. So again, I'd like that to stay the same, but then rise the milk really. So just through better management, better breeding really. So Grandad moved here in 1943 as a tenanted farmer. My dad was born here and farmed since he was a lad really. My dad then bought the farm in 1983, is that right? And then we've carried on since then really, and I'm now the 3rd generation here at Curtis Hulme Farm. So
my parents are also farming, only 10 minutes away from here, so I've grown up on a dairy farm. I went to university, and my dad doesn't milk now, still got the land, so we sort of contract farm most of the land at my mum and dad's farm. But yeah, I was born into it as well. We wanted to become a strategic dairy farm just to gain access to experts and farmers out there that will come and help us along our journey of farming. We want to impart our knowledge and gain other knowledge from other farmers, the team we've got around us, and learn from others and carry on our journey.
In the next 5 years, we're looking to consolidate. We're 450 cows. I'm not looking to go any bigger. I'm just looking to add yield to the cows, really. So we're looking for more knowledge and expertise on how to gain yield on these cows, really. So as well as that, we would like to focus on soil health and soil management, really, just to better utilise the land that we've got, really, and hopefully use a little bit less fertiliser while we're at it. So we feel we've invested very heavily in the farm and the infrastructure in the last few years, and we're basically looking for a good payback on that, really. So